Hello to you and welcome to Effective Living Series 2025 on ChannelOne TV and 97.3 CDFM. My name is Caleb Kuta. Throughout the year of 2025, our focus for this year is resetting for success. You know, we're in a period of resetting. And in the first week, we focus on the mindset and our personal development. In week 2, we are focusing on l'argent, money, cash, and we're looking at our personal finances. We are in week 2 and some people are broke already. Is financial independence possible for you in the year 2025? If you are looking forward to that, my guest, CEO of ELS Finance, Joe Jackson, will be giving us all the keys to financial independence and how we can improve our finances. And let you know that Effective Living Series is brought to you by Hallmark Cafe. Hallmark Cafe, delight in every sip and bite. We'll take a very quick break. When we are back, we'll bring you all the keys you need to your financial independence. Don't go nowhere. Yeah, welcome back. This is Effective Living Series on ChannelOne TV and 97.3 CDFM. My name is Caleb Kuda and my guest today is Joe Jackson, CEO of ELS Finance. Wafa, Afishafa.
Afi kombochen, Afi sisena. Yet come.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
So long as there's life, there's abundant hope.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to see you. We have hope for our finances, but we are only in week 2 of the first month of the year. And already boys are broke. Girls are crying broke too. Skanasa.
In fact, yeah, the beginning of week 2.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, it's a tough. January is always tough. It's tough because, first of all, there's Christmas. Now, bear in mind, right, for the whole country, for most of us, our salaries, our incomes, the money we make is not enough. It's not enough for various reasons, because prices have gone up, because incomes have not kept up with prices, the exchange rate has gone through the roof, and we could go on and on and on. Bottom line, the money is not enough. So Christmas comes, that small money gets spent. The New Year comes. Then there's Constitution Day, Inauguration Day, call it what you want. It's tough for you.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'm prepared to bet 60 to 70% of the ordinary person is already feeling flat broke. And there are 2.5 more weeks to go.
My goodness.
Before there's an alert on the phone.
My goodness. And there is school fees to be paid.
School fees for your kids.
Yes.
School fees for those in secondary school. Some of them went to school this week. School fees for yourself. You're doing a master's or something.
So,
no.
sandwich programs and things.
It's tough.
Wow. Will it get better as the year goes by?
Okay, now, the reason why we're having this chat is how to make it better, right? But it won't get better automatically.
On its own, right.
No.
Right.
You're going to have to be very intentional about your finances. And that's the only way it's going to get better. Listen, the economy is in dire straits. Companies are not doing as well as they could. Salaries are not keeping up. Businesses are not booming. And it's not going to change overnight.
Right.
So this year will be tough. But guess what? The onus is on you.
Let's situate it in the global and geopolitical perspective. We're seeing a lot of sweeping across the globe, change in government. We see the Russia-Ukraine war is still ongoing. The BRICS, the growth of that, all of that is happening, and it looks like there's going to be some hard landing for everyone who is seeking financial, personal financial independence.
Yeah. Now, in terms of situating it properly, remember that for a lot of the ordinary Ghanaians, one way out is to consider, can I hop outside the country? Or can I...
Want to Jakba?
Jakba,
Yes.
as the term goes. Yeah. The challenge you have is that because of generally all the changes going on and all the difficulties and the cost of living crisis and the more the conservative and right-wing movements that are sweeping across, you're going to find that the places where we used to go are not as receptive.
They're anti-migration.
They're anti-migration. The US, the cost of living crisis in the UK, all of Europe is moving to the right. So you're going to find that people are not very receptive to you jackpotting into their country.
Wow.
Even those who are jackpot already,
they are struggling.
Want to close the gate to you who is now coming. So in situating it, you're going to find that this year, there's going to be less opportunity for people to jackpot.
Right.
Less opportunity for people to move outside.
Right.
And less opportunity for us to get inflows from those of us, those who have been lucky enough to jackpot and who have been cushioning that a bit. So that's the global thing.
In the midst of this brokenness, how can we mend ourselves in our financial pursuit? First of all, how do I critically assess my financial situation and know what steps to take to be at least economically independent?
Now, first of all, you have to understand a very simple equation.
Right.
And that equation starts with how much you earn. Everything you earn goes into that, what I call that basket. Right? And when I say how much you earn, it's your salary,
right,
it's your side hustle, it's a gift. Literally, even if you take bribes, it includes the bribes.
My word.
A close relationship gives you money.
Right.
It all goes into that basket.
So windfalls, freebies, side hustles, earnings, allowances, everything.
Legal, illegal, moral, immoral, all goes into that basket.
Right.
From that basket, you spend.
Yes.
After you spend, what is left is savings.
Right.
Right? Now, once you understand that equation, and from savings, that is what you can use to invest. So first there's your basket of all your earnings. Legal, salary, moral, immoral, whatever it is. Then there's all the spending that you do.
We don't encourage the immoral ones, though. But we are just saying that whatever you get, however you get it, right,
goes into that whole basket. Then you go into the spending part, which is whatever you do, whether you're spending it on drugs, on school fees, on food, on transport, whatever it is,
right,
paying off all debt,
right,
paying interest, paying whatever it is, it's spending.
Right.
After that, whatever is left, if any, is savings.
Is there ever any left?
Now, the key thing to being intentional is that you've got to make sure there is some left.
Wow.
That's the first part of the equation. Whatever you do, however you do it, you've got to make sure that there is some left. Now, that sounds sometimes almost ridiculous, isn't it?
It's very hard because by the time you're done spending on transport, going to work and coming home, your earning is finished. You've not talked about food, you've not talked about data, clothes.
So one of the things that we're going to talk about today is, number one, we've got to increase income
Right.
by, and we're talking about the rest of the year. January is already gone. But whatever you do, you're going to have to be intentional about increasing income.
Right.
You have to be intentional about reducing spending
Right.
and finding ways to spend less. Oh, yeah.
Right.
And I keep telling people, maybe you should stop using your private car and hop onto public transport.
It's more expensive, isn't it? It's
no.
riskier using the cheaper ones, and it's more expensive using the convenient ones.
But you've got to find a middle ground.
Okay.
Because what makes your car expensive is not the cost of fuel every day. It's the maintenance of the vehicle,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
So you got to look at public transport. And I assure you, public transport may be less comfortable, may be less convenient.
And it's very risky. I tried it during Christmas.
Maybe even more risky,
Yes.
but it is cheaper.
Okay. So we are just looking for ways to reduce our.
Your expenditure.
So for example, if I
and
take my
if you're
clothes,
already on public transport,
Yeah.
maybe you should start walking part of the way,
okay,
or getting a motor,
to
or
reduce the
getting a
cost.
bike.
That's some austerity measure you are.
Listen, the
recommending.
point is this.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to survive and thrive
Yeah.
and prosper
Yeah.
in this situation is to find ways to increase income and spend less,
Okay.
so that from your savings you can start to invest. Now remember, unless you save, you cannot invest. And what is an investment? An investment is just something that provides me with income or holds value,
Okay.
right? It's an asset that by itself provides me with more income or holds value. And then that asset is wealth,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So wealth is not your income.
Right.
So maybe I'm CEO of Dalex Finance. If all my pay is spent lavishly so that I have nothing saved, I am broke. If the cleaner in my office finds a way to earn a little more, spend a little less, save more and invest, right? She is maybe wealthier than I am.
Interesting equation Joe Jackson is sharing with us how to improve our personal finance. When we are back from this break, I will be finding out from him what investment instruments are ideal for us, but also what practical ways can we reduce our spending and then increase our earning. And then, with some of the things we've seen, haircuts and all of that, is investment still a safe way to improve or increase your wealth? Questions for Joe Jackson after this break.
This is your chance to be served by a robot at Accra's premier destination for fine dining, Hallmark Cafe, located in Jowolu, just after the Allied filling station. It's the perfect spot for delectable pastries, desserts, hot and cold beverages, as well as a variety of continental and local dishes to satisfy your cravings. Enjoy convenient staff lunch services, expert kitchen management, and outdoor event hosting. Here, simply press a button and your waitress will be at your table in no time. Visit Hallmark Cafe today and experience the future of fine dining. Call us now at 053-7344-095 to make your reservation. Hallmark Cafe. Delight in every sip and bite.
Welcome from that break. This is Effective Living Series 2025. My name is Caleb Kuda. We are hanging out with Joe Jackson. We are looking at how to improve our personal finances. Joe Jackson, you are recommending some very drastic measures for us to take in order to reduce our spending. So, for example, if I buy bottled water, you would say I should buy sachet water now?
Yes. Simple answer, yes.
And if I take my clothes to the laundry?
Please, wash it yourself. If you buy only designer clothes, start looking at used clothes. The point is simply this. Unless you find a way to have a surplus, when you take your income together and you take out the expenditure, so that there's what we call savings before you can invest, you have no pathway to wealth.
Right.
And you are doomed to stay in that poverty-stricken situation.
Oh, but we went for Watch Night service. We had a prophetic word. This is our year of financial independence.
Okay.
Breakthrough will come.
So
maybe
we should do a verse. Amen. Maybe we should do a verse battle. Because I will quote to you.
Yes.
That Paul says that you should be able to abase and abound.
Right.
Right? And then the verse immediately after that says you can do all things through Christ.
Philippians 3.
Yes, who strengthens you.
Yeah.
Now we like to quote doing the all things without thinking about it. That applies to abasing and abound.
It also says, my Lord will supply all my needs according to his riches in glory.
Your needs. Okay. Not your wants.
Charlie, you have finished me. You have finished me. Let's talk about the investment opportunities.
Yes, but the important thing is this. Whatever happens, save. And it sounds almost unfair.
Like a no-brainer.
It sounds difficult. And you've heard it many times.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear it many more times.
Because that's a way, eh?
That's the only way. Unless you can scrimp and save and cut expenditure so that there is something left that you can now channel into an investment, you're doomed to stay at the level at which you are.
Okay. Now, it's important we appreciate what you've told us.
Yes.
We have to reduce our spending, increase our earning, we have to save, and then we have to invest.
Yes.
Now, in trying to invest so that we can start creating wealth, so we don't remain in our poverty-stricken situation, as you've said, some of us have gotten our fingers bent, and you know where I'm going.
Yes.
So what's a wise investment decision to make?
Okay, now, that's a tough one at the moment. In truth, wise in the fact that your fingers have been burnt does not mean that you shouldn't jump back into the investment field.
Right.
I like to give the example. If you take your child to school and the teacher gives the child a poor experience, are you going to say that you won't take your child to school ever again?
I'll probably take him to a better school.
You take him to
a school with better teachers.
Or you try, but you have a budget.
Right.
Right? And that's the tough one. So you have to think through, but you have to jump into the investment market over again. I will suggest that we have a wait and see attitude to find out what's truly happening with this new government and this new, before we jump headfirst into going back into treasury bills and government securities. But I will encourage you, whatever it is, go to your bank and tell them you want to do a fixed deposit, not a savings account. Because a fixed deposit allows you to take advantage of compounding. Now, what that means is that when I put in money, when the interest is earned, in a subsequent period, I will earn interest on interest plus the money I put in.
With a fixed deposit.
With a fixed deposit. So your money grows much faster. So one of the things you should do, whatever institution you're comfortable with, go in there and say you want a fixed deposit or an account that compounds, which means after the end of a period, in the subsequent period, your interest is added, interest earned is added to the money that you had already,
Right.
and then that becomes a new principal and goes forth, so that your money is growing.
Okay.
That's a good investment to make.
Okay.
Because of our experiences, I'll be careful about jumping headfirst back into government securities.
Okay.
A wait and see
We
period.
should give it some time.
Yes, maybe at least let's finish this quarter and see where
Okay.
the whole thing is playing.
Right. But fixed deposit is a safe place to
It's a safe place with the institution
The
that you are comfortable with,
Right.
right? And of course, we could spend the next hour talking about this in detail, but given our limited, that's one of the things I want you to do.
Sure.
The other thing I want you to think of is you've got to think of a side hustle.
We need side hustles.
Yes, you need a side hustle.
For us, we call it galamsey.
Call
Not
it
the
ga-
illegal mining.
Call it galamsey, call it moonlighting, call it locum,
Right.
call it whatever you call it. You need to think through and say, given what I do, how can I earn a little income on the side?
Right.
And some of them are fairly obvious. As a media personality, maybe emceeing
Sure.
of events.
This year, I intend to work with you, actually.
Please, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Is a side hustle,
Sure.
right? As a camera person,
Right.
maybe you need to think, what can I do?
Some documentaries here and there.
Not even simple things, you know. Sometimes we are not creative. Even just take artistic photos
Right.
and post them for sale,
Right.
right?
Portraits. and
Portraits.
images.
And take pictures of kids
Right.
and stuff like that. The thing is, the spectrum of side hustles are so wide, so large, that you've got to have a side hustle.
To the extent that people are here in Ghana even taking gigs abroad, working
Thank you.
remotely, right?
Thank you. Remote work is in fact, this time, remote work is not a high side hustle too.
It's the main
It can be the main
And the
hustle
corporate
and
one
the
is the side hustle.
lucrative main hustle.
I love it.
So, so do something, create something.
Sure.
But you have to have something,
Okay.
right? And if there's anything I want to tell you today, is that income basket, I want you to grow it.
Okay.
Be intentional about growing it.
Okay.
Be intentional. And you see, side hustles, now, here again about saving.
Right.
If you don't abase, even the money to start the side hustle is not there.
Because you need to get equipment.
You may need a little equipment. You may need even just to buy a table net device so that you have consistent and
Internet
good
supply.
internet rather than hotspotting your phone.
Right.
So the thing is this, you can't just,
So we need to abase to abound.
yes,
Right.
because what happens is that, you know, in that equation, if you save
Yeah.
and you are investing,
Yeah.
that investment feeds back to the top
Right.
by increasing your income
Right.
and then growing the pie that is you.
People are borrowing a lot too. I mean, you buy something, you pay them with Momo and say, you should have asked me the number you send the money to. They have taken the money. You are into the business of lending. Would you recommend borrowing? For someone?
Even though
Yeah.
I make money by lending, my advice to you is don't borrow. You see, we've talked about January.
Yeah.
We've talked about how difficult things are.
Yes.
We've talked about, and if you borrow in January, all you're doing is postponing the pain of January into February or whatever period you are
Right.
going to get into. Take the pain,
Okay.
abase,
Right.
and start saving from next month. Because what you do when you borrow is that you have spent your income even before you've received it.
And these are all personal finance tips.
Yes,
If I'm a
fine.
company and I want to expand, I've saved a bit, but I need money, is borrowing still a bad idea?
You see, borrowing is good in only one instance. If you borrow And every single bit of that money you borrowed is going into an investment that will yield an income.
Then it's fine. Okay.
If you borrow to consume, you're headed for deep trouble.
To be broke, yeah.
Yes.
And we're about to wrap up. I have about 4 minutes. So
Okay.
well,
One more tip.
please.
To spend less, create a budget.
Okay, in order to spend less, you need to create a budget.
Yes. So this, let's take, I'm in February, end of January, and I know that all my income put together, give or take, will come to whatever figure makes sense to you. Whether it's 1,000 CDs or 10,000 CDs, whatever figure makes sense. Allocate that income into specific categories of spending.
Right.
At the very least, it will restrain you from the more profligate things that you will do. It will restrain you from those things that you don't need and yet you do and then regret.
So financial discipline.
Yes, the whole act of putting together a budget in itself, it's a fantastic discipline.
Wow.
Well, so long as you sit down and you start, it will tell you what you can do and what you cannot do.
Right.
Maybe by the time you finish putting together that budget, you know that you can't close from work this Friday and hang out with the guys and buy somebody a drink.
Okay. So you'll be more careful in
You'll
how
be more careful.
you splurge.
And then the next step is actually sticking to the budget.
Okay.
But even just drawing the budget alone,
It's good discipline.
it's good discipline.
And that can even be a side hustle. Drawing budgets for people. Financial budgets.
Everybody should draw his own budget. I don't want somebody drawing. That's not a side hustle I'm going to
I'm
recommend.
coming up with ideas.
No. Everybody should draw his own budget.
So,
You,
in summary,
and you see, when I say
yeah.
draw a budget, I'm not talking about a fancy Excel sheet.
yeah.
I'm just talking about take a sheet of paper. This is my income, X amount of CDs, transport, rent, phone credit, phone data, etc. By the time you finish, yourself will know where you sit. And then if it doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
you start to reduce, you start to cut, because you put down laundry fees,
Yeah.
300 cedis,
Yeah.
because you will go to laundry 3 times or twice in the month.
Month.
So all of a sudden, take out the laundry fees,
Yeah.
replace it with buying some soap
Right.
and washing yourself
Sure.
and ironing yourself, or whatever makes sense.
You are good to go.
Make a budget. That's one thing.
Great.
So we've talked about practical things.
Yes.
First of all, you got to abase and abound.
A base and a bound.
Number 1, get a side hustle. Number 2, get a budget. Right? Number 3, don't borrow.
Joe Jackson, thank you.
Thank you too.
Wonderful.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
That you will be intentional about your finances and that you understand that it is about you. That in spite of this economy, we can still not just survive, we can
thrive.
prosper.
Excellent. Thank you. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have this conversation again. And I also share how many galamseys I've had
How many
with the
galamseys
next
you-
finance, you know.
Yes.
And we have it. I'm abounding, you know, in the galamsey side.
Boundless.
Thank you for watching the Effective Living series. We've learned so much. We're going to reduce our spending, increase our earning basket, and then also save, invest, check the system before we jump into some of the investment instruments. But we're certainly going to budget our spending so we don't just splurge and send Momo recklessly. You know, we have to abound. This is how we want you to live effectively. Hopefully, this helps you. My name is Caleb Kuda. My guest was Joe Jackson, CEO of Dalex Finance. I'll see you next time.